Seinfeld wasn't just a sitcom, it was a cultural touchstone that reshaped comedy and left an indelible mark on our lives. But where are the stars who made these beloved characters so unforgettable? It's been 34 years since Seinfeld first hit our screens, and the twists and turns in the cast's lives may surprise you. Did they all bask in the limelight, or did some quietly disappear? Were there scandals, heartbreaks, or even shocking tragedies along the way? From the laughter-filled days of the 90s to the unexpected challenges they face today, this video pulls back the curtain on their post-Seinfeld journeys. Which of your favorites soared to new heights, and who faced struggles no one saw coming? Get ready for an emotional ride as we uncover the hidden stories behind television's most legendary ensemble. Are you prepared for the truth? Let's dive in. Jerry Seinfeld's unfinished story. Comedy's golden icon or a tarnished legacy? Jerry Seinfeld, the quick-witted mastermind behind one of television's most legendary sitcoms, once seemed untouchable, a symbol of comedic brilliance. But beneath the polished charm of his success lies a man wrapped in controversy, criticism, and lingering questions. Is Jerry's legacy one of pure genius, or does a more complicated truth lurk beneath the laughter? At the height of Seinfeld, he revolutionized sitcoms with his groundbreaking no hugging, no learning philosophy. Yet off-screen, his choices sparked backlash that chipped away at his wholesome image. At 38, his relationship with 17-year-old Shoshana Lonstein set off a firestorm of controversy, leaving many questioning his judgment. And when he famously walked away from $100 million for another season, fans were divided. Was it a bold stand or an act of sheer arrogance? Even after Seinfeld ended, the controversies followed. His Netflix hit, Comedians in Cars Getting Coffee, faced criticism for its glaring lack of diversity. A seemingly harmless refusal to hug Keisha in 2017 became a viral moment, reinforcing his reputation for being cold and detached. Most recently, his 2024 speech at Duke University sparked protests, reigniting debates about whether he's still in touch with today's world. Now 70, Jerry presents an image of quiet contentment, surrounded by his family and a garage filled with prized vintage cars. But is he truly at peace? Or does the weight of past choices still shadow his legacy? Has Hollywood's comedy king remained on his throne, or is he teetering on the edge of exile? Julia Louis-Dreyfus. Comedy's queen, or Hollywood's most privileged star. Born into immense wealth as the heiress to the Louis-Dreyfus fortune, Julia Louis-Dreyfus was never destined for an ordinary life. With billions at her family's disposal, she could have easily embraced a life of luxury. Yet, instead of settling into privilege, she defied expectations, winning over audiences as the bold and unpredictable Elaine Benz on Seinfeld. But was her rise to stardom built purely on talent, or did her fortune quietly smooth the way? Unlike many of her Seinfeld co-stars, Julia shattered the so-called sitcom curse. With 11 Emmys and a powerhouse role on Veep, she proved she was no one-hit wonder. But success often comes at a price. Her outspoken criticism of Jerry Seinfeld's resistance to political correctness ruffled feathers, making her a lightning rod for debate. Then, in 2017, life took an unexpected turn. Julia was diagnosed with breast cancer. It was a moment that could have ended her reign at the top. But instead of retreating, she fought back with unwavering determination, using her battle to inspire millions. Through advocacy and resilience, she transformed her struggle into a testament to her strength, all while maintaining the sharp wit and charm that made her beloved. Now at 63, Julia continues to juggle family, fame, and activism. But the question remains: was her career a testament to raw talent, or did her privileged beginnings give her an advantage few could ever attain? Michael Richards' rise and fall, from Kramer's glory to a life in shadows. For nearly a decade, Michael Richards lit up television screens as the eccentric, scene-stealing Cosmo Kramer on Seinfeld, 1989 to 1998. His knack for slapstick comedy and unpredictable antics made him a fan favorite, earning him multiple Emmy Awards. But behind the laughter, no one could have predicted how dramatically his story would take a turn. How did one of TV's most beloved comedians end up retreating from the spotlight? Everything changed in 2006 when a stand-up performance at the Laugh Factory went terribly wrong. In a moment of rage, Richards unleashed a shocking racist tirade that stunned both fans and fellow comedians. Though he apologized, citing deep personal struggles and anger issues, the damage was irreversible. His career crumbled overnight, and rather than fight for redemption, he chose to disappear, stepping away to battle the demons that had haunted him for years. Even as Hollywood came calling, with offers including a star on the Walk of Fame, Richards refused to return. Then, in 2018, another challenge arose: a prostate cancer diagnosis. Instead of seeking the limelight again, he faced the illness with quiet resilience, choosing a different path. Now at 75, Richards lives far from Hollywood's glare, embracing a private life with his wife and son. He has no interest in reclaiming his former fame, preferring peace over redemption. Wayne Knight, the untold story of Seinfeld's Newman, triumphs, troubles, and the cost of fame. Wayne Knight, forever remembered as Jerry's scheming nemesis, Newman on Seinfeld, built a career on razor-sharp wit and perfectly timed one-liners. But beyond the laughs and the famous catchphrase, "Hello, Newman," lies a story far more complex than the roles he played. While his career soared, his personal life was anything but simple, marked by challenges that proved fame isn't always a laughing matter. After Seinfeld, Knight didn't fade into the background. He reached even greater heights, starring in blockbuster hits like Jurassic Park and Space Jam. But with every professional success came new personal struggles. His divorces, particularly his 2003 split from makeup artist Paula Sutor and his 2006 marriage to Claire de Chenu, became tabloid headlines, often overshadowing his career. Despite his talent, his private life became the focus of public curiosity. The turbulence didn't stop there. Knight found himself at the center of bizarre rumors, including a viral hoax falsely claiming his death, sending shockwaves through fans and media alike. Even as he continued acting, the weight of constant speculation took its toll, leading him to retreat from Hollywood's harsh spotlight in recent years. Now 69, Knight has largely stepped away from the industry, though his legacy as Newman still follows him, most recently in public campaigns for mail-in voting. But with a career and personal life shaped by so many ups and downs, one question remains. Has Wayne Knight truly found peace, or is he simply navigating the lingering effects of a life spent under scrutiny? Jason Alexander, The Quiet Battle after Seinfeld's spotlight. Jason Alexander, immortalized as the neurotic yet lovable George Costanza on Seinfeld, seemed destined for continued greatness after the series ended. But while his co-stars found new triumphs, his path was filled with obstacles. Despite earning multiple Emmy and Golden Globe nominations, he never won, always just shy of the recognition many believed he deserved. His journey after Seinfeld became a fight to prove he was more than just George Costanza. Though Alexander had already won a Tony Award before Seinfeld, his return to television proved challenging. Shows like Bob Patterson and Listen Up came and went with little fanfare, never capturing the magic that once made him a household name. Determined to adapt, he shifted toward voice acting and directing, hoping to carve a new niche for himself. But no matter what he did, whether guest starring on Mike and Molly or Everybody Hates Chris, he could never escape the long shadow of his most famous role. Bryan Cranston, The Hard Road to Hollywood Spotlight. Before Bryan Cranston stunned the world as Walter White in Breaking Bad, he was just another working actor fighting to be noticed. His stint as Doctor Tim Whatley on Seinfeld earned him brief recognition, but it wasn't the career breakthrough he had hoped for. After Seinfeld, Cranston endured years of frustration, bouncing between minor roles and forgettable projects that never quite took off. Despite his undeniable talent, Cranston's rise to Breaking Bad was anything but overnight. Even after landing the role, success didn't come instantly. He had to carry the immense weight of expectation, delivering a performance that would define his legacy. The years of struggle before his big break left lasting scars, a constant reminder of how close he came to fading into obscurity. Though he ultimately won countless awards and the respect of Hollywood, the long road to fame still lingers in his past, a quiet echo of the career that almost never was. Ruth Cohen, the unsung soul of Monk's Cafe, gone too soon. Ruth Cohen, the familiar face behind the counter at Monk's Cafe in Seinfeld, was one of those rare television gems whose quiet presence left a lasting impact. Born on January 28, 1930, in the Bronx, Ruthie embodied the essence of everyday New York life. With minimal dialogue but undeniable charm, she became an unspoken thread in the fabric of the show, appearing in 101 episodes. Whether in The Gum or The Foundation, her brief moments on screen radiated warmth, making her more than just a background character. She was part of Seinfeld's heart. Yet, when Seinfeld ended, Ruth's time in the spotlight faded. Though she made small appearances on The Golden Girls and Roseanne, Hollywood had already moved on. Adored by fans but content with a quieter life, Ruth stepped away from television. Then, on August 23, 2008, at the age of 78, she passed away, closing the chapter on a career filled with understated brilliance. Patrick Warburton, the deep voice of comedy, shadowed by his father's judgment. Patrick Warburton, the unmistakable voice behind some of television's quirkiest characters, made his mark as the deadpan yet lovable David Puddy on Seinfeld. His portrayal of Elaine's offbeat, emotionally detached boyfriend became legendary, but behind the humor, Warburton's personal journey was far more complicated. After Seinfeld, his career flourished in animation, bringing to life memorable roles like Kronk in The Emperor's New Groove and Joe Swanson on Family Guy. Yet, his success carried an unseen burden. His father, a rigid and critical man, never approved of his decision to portray morally complex characters. That disapproval cast a long shadow, leaving Warburton wrestling with a need for validation that fame alone couldn't provide. Even as his career thrived, the tension with his father remained a painful undercurrent, a reminder that not all applause is equal. But Warburton never let it stop him. He embraced his distinctive roles, carving out a career that resonated with audiences, even if it never won over the one voice he longed to hear. Heidi Swedberg, from Seinfeld's Susan to Hollywood's exit. Was it really her choice? Heidi Swedberg became a familiar face to Seinfeld fans as Susan Ross, George Costanza's doomed fiancée, whose shocking and darkly comedic exit remains one of the show's most unforgettable moments. But behind the laughter, her time on set was far from easy. While she was poised for success, tensions simmered behind the scenes, particularly with Jason Alexander, who later admitted that their comedic rhythms never quite aligned. The disconnect created friction, and in the end, Susan's unexpected demise seemed like more than just a scripted twist. It felt like a quiet farewell. After Seinfeld, Swedberg didn't chase Hollywood stardom. Instead, she walked away, immersing herself in a new passion, music. Teaching and performing with her ukulele, she found fulfillment in a world far removed from television. But was this path one she truly chose, or was she quietly ushered out of an industry that no longer had room for her? Now 58, Swedberg enjoys a peaceful life, but her departure from acting leaves lingering questions. Was it an escape or a decision made for her by the harsh realities of Hollywood? Estelle Harris, a legacy of laughter, heartache, and unforgettable love. Estelle Harris, forever cherished as the fiery and over-the-top Estelle Costanza on Seinfeld, carved out a place in television history with her sharp wit and booming voice. As George Costanza's overbearing mother, she delivered comedic gold in every scene, her high-pitched exasperation clashing hilariously with George's neuroses. Born in 1928, Estelle's path to stardom wasn't easy. Growing up in small-town Pennsylvania, she faced discrimination, but never let it dim her passion for performing. She began with commercials and small TV roles before Seinfeld changed everything. But even with fame, her personal life had its struggles. The passing of her beloved husband in the 2000s left a void that she never fully filled, and loneliness became a quiet battle in her later years. When she passed in 2022 at the age of 93, it marked the end of an era. Yet, through her unforgettable performances, her warmth, humor, and indomitable spirit continue to bring joy to fans old and new. Jerry Stiller, a comedy icon who found joy in laughter and family. Born on June 8, 1927, Jerry Stiller became a comedy legend, whose unforgettable performances on Seinfeld and The King of Queens cemented his place in television history. Long before he was Frank Costanza, Stiller made his mark alongside his wife, Ann Mira, as one half of the beloved comedy duo Stiller and Mira. Their sharp, witty routines lit up television screens in the 60s and 70s, but it was his portrayal of the fiery, eccentric Frank Costanza that made him a household name. While his career was filled with laughter, life behind the scenes wasn't always as smooth. His 62-year marriage to Mira was built on love and humor, but Stiller often battled a short temper, a trait that sometimes mirrored the characters he played. His portrayal of Frank Costanza even sparked debate over the character's ethnicity, with fans amused by the contrast between his Italian-sounding name and strong Jewish mannerisms. Later, he found new success as the quirky Arthur Spooner on The King of Queens, bringing his signature comedic style to another generation of fans. In his final years, he embraced a quieter life, passing away in 2020 at the age of 92. Though he is gone, Jerry Stiller's legacy lives on. His humor, his passion, and the joy he brought to audiences will never fade. Liz Sheridan, a beloved TV mom, lost in Hollywood's shadows. Liz Sheridan, the warm and ever-devoted Helen Seinfeld, passed away on April 15, 2022, at 93, leaving behind a career filled with both triumph and heartache. As Jerry's overprotective mother on Seinfeld, she won over audiences with her tender yet comedic presence, becoming a fixture in one of television's greatest sitcoms. But beyond the laughter, Sheridan's life was a journey of highs and lows. Before Seinfeld, she was a nightclub singer and dancer, once sharing a passionate romance with a young James Dean, a love story she later captured in her memoir. Yet, as the years passed, her once thriving career faded into uncertainty. Hollywood's spotlight can be fleeting, and after Seinfeld, Sheridan struggled to find roles that matched her past success. Once celebrated, she became a forgotten name in an industry that rarely looks back. In her later years, she lived a quiet life, far from the glitz of show business. When news of her passing broke, it stirred nostalgia for the joy she once brought to millions. Did Hollywood fail her in the end? Or was she at peace with the life she had lived? Len Lesser, The Long Road to a Beloved Legacy. Born in 1922 in the Bronx, Len Lesser spent decades in Hollywood before finally finding fame as the unforgettable Uncle Leo on Seinfeld, a role he landed at the age of 66. Though his career spanned more than 40 years, Lesser spent much of it in the background, taking on small roles in TV westerns and detective dramas that rarely earned him recognition. But when he stepped into the shoes of Uncle Leo, Jerry's overly affectionate, hilariously intrusive relative, he became an instant fan favorite, proving that sometimes the best roles come later in life. Yet, Lesser's journey to fame wasn't easy. He endured years of struggle, facing typecasting and the constant challenge of staying relevant in an industry that often overlooks character actors. When Seinfeld finally gave him the spotlight, it was both a triumph and a reminder of how long he had waited. Lesser passed away in 2011 at the age of 88, but his legacy lives on, a testament to perseverance and the idea that success can come at any stage, sometimes just when you least expect it. John O'Hurley, the man behind J. Peterman's charm and struggles. John O'Hurley, born on October 9, 1954, became a household name as the charismatic and eccentric J. Peterman on Seinfeld, delivering long-winded poetic monologues that fans still quote today. But behind the dapper persona and polished delivery, O'Hurley's journey has been far more complex. Despite his breakout role, sustaining a Hollywood career proved challenging. After Seinfeld, he ventured into hosting, taking on Family Feud, but his time there was overshadowed by frustrations with the show's shift toward crude humor. His eventual departure left him questioning his direction in the entertainment industry. Beyond his professional struggles, O'Hurley faced deep personal loss. The tragic passing of his sister to epilepsy was a defining moment, forever altering his outlook on life. Channeling his grief into purpose, he became an advocate for epilepsy awareness, dedicating himself to charitable work. Yet, no amount of success or philanthropy could fully heal the pain. While he remains active in entertainment and charity, the question lingers: has he truly found fulfillment, or does the shadow of J. Peterman still follow him? Barney Martin, from NYPD to Seinfeld stardom, a life of triumph and loss. Barney Martin, the man who brought Jerry's lovable yet stubborn father, Morty Seinfeld, to life, led a journey filled with both remarkable achievements and quiet hardships. Born on March 3, 1923, in Queens, New York, Martin's early years were shaped by duty, first serving in the U.S. Army Air Corps during World War II, then patrolling the streets of New York as an NYPD officer. These experiences gave him a depth of character that later translated seamlessly into his acting. After 2 decades in law enforcement, Martin took a leap of faith into entertainment, finding his first big break in The Producers under the direction of Mel Brooks. His career flourished with roles in films like Arthur and its sequel, Arthur II, On the Rocks. But it was Seinfeld that cemented Martin's place in TV history. Taking over the role of Morty Seinfeld in the second season, he infused the character with warmth, stubbornness, and an endearing comedic charm. His hilarious squabbles and relentless bickering with Jerry became a fan-favorite element of the show. Interestingly, despite his Irish Catholic roots, Martin's portrayal of a quintessential Jewish father resonated deeply with audiences. Away from the spotlight, Martin lived a quiet life, but not without challenges. As Seinfeld faded, his career slowed and he settled into smaller roles. Then, in 2005, tragedy struck when he passed away at 82 after a battle with lung cancer. His loss was deeply felt, cutting short a life that had already seen so much perseverance and sacrifice. Yet his legacy endures. Through Morty Seinfeld, he continues to bring laughter to generations of fans, proving that even the most unexpected paths can lead to greatness. Lauren Bowles. From Seinfeld's cafe to a steady Hollywood career. Lauren Bowles, born March 24, 1973, in Washington, D.C., may not have been a household name, but her role as the friendly waitress at Monk's Cafe in Seinfeld 1889 to 1998, added to the charm of the show's beloved setting. Though her appearances were brief, they contributed to the lived-in feel of the series. At just 22, she stepped into the television world, making her mark alongside her half-sister, Seinfeld star Julia Louis-Dreyfus. But Seinfeld was just the start of a career that steadily grew over the years. Bowles later found success with roles like Holly Cleary in True Blood and guest spots in ER, CSINY, and Scandal. She also took on film roles in Ghost World, 2001, and Hall Pass, 2011, often playing quirky characters with a supernatural or comedic twist. Her versatility allowed her to navigate both drama and humor, keeping her career moving forward. Despite having a famous sibling, Bowles has always preferred to keep a lower profile. She married fellow actor Patrick Fischler in 2005, and together they share a daughter, Fia Lucille Fischler. While many actors chase the spotlight, Bowles has balanced her work with family life, steering clear of controversy. And there you have it, the untold truths and hidden struggles of the Seinfeld cast, 34 years after they first became a part of our lives. It's a journey filled with triumphs, heartbreaks, and even losses, reminding us just how unpredictable Hollywood can be. But this is only the beginning. The entertainment world is full of secrets, and in our upcoming videos, we'll take an even deeper dive into the lives of beloved childhood stars and the iconic films that shaped our memories. Were some of your childhood favorites met with tragic fates? What hidden scandals have been carefully kept from the public eye? From stars who faded into obscurity to the darker stories that Hollywood would rather erase, we're bringing the truth to light. Sometimes reality is more unbelievable than the movies themselves. You won't want to miss what's coming next, so stay with us for more astonishing revelations and nostalgic trips back to the TV shows and films that defined an era.